Well, we are across the pond for the final time this year. It is the most legendary track in all of Italy. Welcome along board, ladies and gentlemen, to the fastest road course on the calendar and the Circuit Monza. The fifth stop for this year's chase brings us to the DHL Italian Grand Prix, and if this race is anything to go off of, for what we have seen so far in this epic chase battle, it is going to be an absolute battle to the death here at the Temple of Speed here in Italy. Welcome along board, ladies and gentlemen, to our final trip here in Monza here in Stock Car World Cup. It was announced earlier this week. We are in the Swan Song season of the series. The drivers have been putting on an unbelievable show over these many seasons that we have run here, but it is time for all good things must come to an end, and a new chapter will soon be emerging. But before we can write a new story, we have to finish the one that we are writing right now. And Ludovic Charette and Lane Keys are writing an unbelievable championship battle right now, and Stuart Grattan joining me here today in the booth. And Stuart, your driver sits 4 points behind, or 4 points ahead of Blaine Keys after that unbelievable Atlanta run. She starts from the 4th position today. Blaine Keys starts shotgun on the field after a qualifying disaster class. What is the strategy here today? And, what does Ludovic Charette need to do to walk out of here in 5 races time as the only 2-time Stock Car World Cup champion?
Well, you just got to we got to make your way through this race because, obviously, yes, it is nice to be starting up at the front of the field, but you can't make any mistakes here, whether it's, on the track or on pit road or wherever it is. You don't want to be making any mistakes. You got to take advantage of this opportunity. The two of Blaine Keys you mentioned starts last today. It's a real opportunity for the 23, and Cam Waters is starting third in this race as well. He's third in the championship. It's a real opportunity for these guys to gain some ground away from Blaine, and if things go badly for Ludovic, or vice versa, things go badly for Cam, one or the other can take advantage of that as well. So you've got to be nice and clean. If you're Blaine, you've got to get off to a perfect start. You've got to make up as much ground as you can in the earlier laps, because as this, Monza's a legendary racetrack, and we all know that. It's got the very long straights, very fast down the straights, and there are opportunities to overtake, but there's a lot of work that must be done to make your way through the field, and you just got to salvage something from this qualifying. So I think for the 20, for the 51, I should say, and the 6, there's a real opportunity today. They must keep it on the track. They must not make any mistakes on pit road, and whether or not they win the race, if they could just get a good solid finish, then that puts them in good stead for the last few races.
Yeah, and when we go back stateside, it is going to be interesting because we'll have the road course of Watkins Glen, but we're going to be at South Boston. We're going to be at Watkins Glen. We're going to go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the season finale. We're going to go, first place we're going to go when we go back across the pond is Colorado, and you and I both know how that can go. So we've got a couple races to go, all 4 ovals, 1 road course after today, but we have to write the story of the DHL Italian Grand Prix, and it is going to be an unbelievable championship battle. As we just talked about, Ludovic Charette is now 4 points up on Blaine Keys. Cam Waters has the gap at 29 points. Obviously, he's in an interesting spot today because if Ludovic Charette struggles, he's going to be there to capitalize. If Ludovic Charette doesn't struggle, he's going to walk out of here and head back stateside with not a favorable gap in his favor. Braden Perez is trying his absolute dangest to hang on 37 points back. And then I think from Caleb Rose on down is the guys who this is their last chance to get back into the title fight without something insane happening. Caleb Rose minus 61, Matt Tuck minus 64, Rogel Dorn minus 64, Joseph Newgarden minus 71, Connor Zilich minus 76, Logan Williams minus 83, Gabby Bortoletto minus 83, and Matthew Huber. It's not even any fault of his own, I feel like, but the cards have not fallen for him in the chase, and he is 110 points out, needing an absolute miracle. And the first driver facing mathematical elimination from this chase. But 36 drivers here today at Monza. Let's go downstairs and run through your starting lineup. Row 18, that is right. Second in the points, Blaine Keys facing the disaster of his season, potentially about to slip away his shot at a championship here. Hanging on by a thread if he were to finish this poorly here today, and he's going to have to make it through what is predicted to be a wild opening first lap, as it has always been here. Next to him is Raja Caruth in the 97 for NS Ganassi. In front of them on row 17 is Franco Colapinto and Rinus VK. Row 16 is Tom Blomqvist and Kyle Kirkwood, the Andretti Global teammates. Row 15 is Todd Gilliland and Carson Hocevar. Row 14 is Nicholas Sampadillo and Callum Ilott. Row 13 is David Malukas and Max Davis. Row 12 is Jack Haas and Ollie Behrman. Row 11 is William Byron and Sam Mayer. Row 10 is Kyle Larson and Shane Van Gisbergen. Row 9 is Leah Block, looking to end this miserable season out on a high note for her, and same goes for Scott McLaughlin. In front of them are Florida 500 winner Ryan Blaney. Next to him will be 6 in points Matt Tuck, who had a good run at Atlanta. Connor Zilic, our last winner on the twists and turns of a road course at Road America. He's got a little bit of work cut out today, but Monza's not the hardest track to overtake, so don't count him out. Logan Williams, it was looking like an opportunity to go for a championship, but it has not gone his way here in the chase. Christian Lundgaard has been on an absolute heater all summer long, and he has carried that pace into the chase, even though he did not qualify for the chase. And Nathan Smith, who's had a nice couple of past few weeks. In front of them is Caleb Rose, looking for a huge day. He had rapid pace at Road America the last time we were on a road course. And Matthew Huber, out of the championship hunt, just looking for some good finishes and to get back on the right momentum. In front of them is Gabby Bortoletto and Joseph Newgarden. And then as we get into our top 6, it's Chase Harris and Braden Perez, who was almost perfect last season on the road courses. Cam Waters and Ludovic Charette are 2 heavy hitters from the Ford camp in the championship fight still on row number 2. And on row number 1, outside or pole sitter Pato O'Ward and outside pole sitter Rogel Dorn, with an opportunity, should Ludovic or Cam struggle today, to really jump back into this title fight. 23 laps in front of us. It is going to be a one-stop race here at Monza. Monza not really a track that says it does not believe in tire degradation. So if the tires don't deg, you simply don't need to change them. But we are looking at a one-stop race here today, and I mean, this has been an unbelievable race over the years. Stuart, I mean, who are you picking here today to go to victory lane here in the Italian Grand Prix?
Out of fear of jinxing my drivers, I'm going to go Cam Waters, starting from the 3rd position. I think he's in a really good chance. Puts himself right back in the championship hunt.
It is a great time for Waters to bounce back into the championship hunt. It is going to be an absolute thriller here. The last time here for Stock Car World Cup, I mean, we'll be back here at Monza and whatever the next adventure looks like here. But 23 laps around this iconic racing venue. We are green here at Monza. Already on the long rundown into turn number 1. This is the most chaotic turn 1 that we have on any of the road courses that we go to. Drivers are going to be looking everywhere to try and overtake. It's fairly clean as they work their way through the first hairpin, but side by side for the lead of the race, we can see as Ludovic Charette has already jumped the pole sitter of Pato O'Ward. Rogel Dorn is out in front as well. It's a Grattan Autosport 1-2 early in the going, and here comes Braden Perez looking to the inside of Pato O'Ward. Through Parabolica. I'm going to mess all my corners up here. I don't have the corner map up in front of me. Cam Waters and Pato O'Ward looking to make the jump here through the S's. They got through lap 1 fairly clean, except for Blaney and Kirkwood. Keys has found himself up a couple positions, which is exactly what he needs to do here. But Stuart, your guy you picked to win the race, Cam Waters, didn't have a good opening first couple of sectors there. But your 2 drivers who are on your payroll, Ludovic Charette and Rogel Dorn, they looked they were lights out here on the start of this race, and they are already boogieing their way on away.
Yeah, a big part of that start, Pato maybe spun the tyres a little bit there right at the start. Rogel was on it. He got a perfect jump in that 23, and then Ludovic obviously followed through and were able to get 1 and 2, and so that entire, I suppose, outside lane for turn 1, you know, they all lost a bit of ground. They didn't get the run out of turn 2, so great start for our two guys at the front of the field. We'll see what happens. There's still a long race to go, 23 laps. You've got that pit stop, and there's still opportunities for these guys to make moves back throughout the field, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, and like we've said over the years, I mean, you can see Braden Perez already looking to the inside of Pato O'Ward. You can see Renus VK down there. You know, draft is very powerful here at Monza. The long straightaways here. Oh, Tuck and Zilic banging all sorts of car parts. Haas gonna try and go to the inside of Christian Lundgaard. This is such an interesting racetrack. Oh, here we go for the lead of the race, and this is not insignificant in the championship fight. Ludovic Shred sees the opportunity in front of her today. Heading into 5, 6, and 7, though. She's going to have to think better of it for the moment. Braden Perez, again, somebody else who's hanging on by a thread here in the championship fund. He is locking in today, and he had the fastest car here last year. Some really questionable pit strategy, but he is up here today. He's looking really strong. He's going for redemption. Shout out Chase Harris, also running up here in the top 10. Had a good qualifying car, and sometimes, you know, these Audis, it doesn't transfer over into the race, but he looks very strong here. Our Pocono winner, Lundgaard and Haas side by side through the S's. They are just absolutely, gotta love to see a racetrack like this where, you know, clearly they can make a bunch of moves, and lots of moves to be made here. Drivers working their way up and down through this field. Blaine Keys kind of stalled out there. You know, we got to keep an eye on him throughout the race. He's going to need a little bit of strategy or something to go his way, because heading into Parabolica, it's just not looking too good here to start this race. He is going to be in a big hole in this championship fight here, but again, up front though, how do you play this here if you're Rogel Dorn? You're 63 points, 64 points back here. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, never mind. For the lead.
Not a good line. Not a good line there for Rogel through 1 and 2, and that probably is going to cost him the lead, because Ludovic through Curva Grande, you know, gets that inside run. We'll see if Rogel can stick it on that inside. Getting into this little S section here, and you see Ludovic goes over the curve a little bit there. That's going to cost her a bit of speed out of the turn, but now through Lesmo 1. Still at the inside. No, Rogel did a good job there, holding the 51 at bay, and heading into Lesmo 2 now, trying to get the run down the straight. So, in terms of the question about, you know, how do you play this? I mean, in my view, I think he still feels like he's in championship contention, despite what's happened throughout the chase. Obviously, did get a win along the way in the chase, but you know, he still feels like he's in championship contention if he gets a good run here today, and I don't blame him. As long as they keep it clean, that is the most important thing. I think if for any team owner, you just want the two guys to keep it clean. And the thing about Blaine Keys, as we look back through the field, the thing about Blaine, this is what happens on a road course when you don't qualify well. You get stuck at the rear of the field, and it is, you know, there are opportunities to make passes, but it is not easy to do. So you're going to have to play a bit of strategy here if you're the two.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw Bathurst in the GRT Bathurst 500. I mean, he has a good car on the road courses. I mean, his teammate Max Davis won this race last year. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh.
Have we had an accident in front of this field? Because that is significant front-end damage. Who did he hit? Oh, my goodness. Here we go through the Curva Grande. It's side by side with Ludovic Charette and Rogel Dorn for the lead of the race, with Braden Perez trying to push the two teammates along here. And Charette's going to hop that curb, get a poor run off of there, but she's going to jump to the lead heading into Lesmo 1. Side by side, can Rogel hang it on the outside? Oh my goodness, that 23 is very fast here He's going to go through Lesmo 1, hanging around the outside. If he can hang it through Lesmo 2, he might have the lead heading down the back straightaway. And Braden Perez is going to push the 23 to the lead of the race, and he's going to go up to second place now.
What happening there, and not sure what happened to the 6. We'll just probably have a replay or something when we see the damage there on the front of that car. That's really bad for the 6. And now you look at Ladovic and even Braden Perez here, who's now second, who worked his way around the 51 quite well and used that outside to his advantage. And now Ladovic's struggling a little bit more here as O'War now going to the inside. But you look at Perez and you look at Charette. They've got a great opportunity now. They're first and fourth in points, with Keys down the order and Waters in trouble with damage. They've got an opportunity here to really capitalise and gain a significant chunk of ground on those two guys. So we'll see a drag race down the front. We'll see if Ladovic can hold the 4 at bay. Well, Panos going to have to send it here into the first chicane.
Oh, that's a big send by Williams.
That was proper. That was a proper hit there by Logan, and he got into the back there of the 4 of O'Ward. But O'Ward should get this done, and we had a change for the lead. Perez got around the 23 of Dawn.
This was the man to beat last year on the road courses, folks. I mean, he won Montreal. He won Road America in one of the biggest beatdowns I think I've ever seen. I think we went to Willow Springs last year. There was somewhere else we went, and I'm blanking on where it was. But I know he had another road course win along the way last year. And I mean, he was just unbelievable on the twists and turns. But he should have won this race without question. But it is. We have not seen, it's kind of crazy to think about, we haven't seen Braden Perez find his way, our defending series champion, who had a historic, not just a great season last year, obviously win a championship, yeah, great, but a historically great season last year. Statistically, one of the best seasons we've ever seen in Stock Car World Cup. He hasn't found victory lane, and we're on race 31 of the season, which is just, it doesn't feel real. I mean, bear in mind, he got suspended a race for, heading into Talladega for some very questionable driving that he was doing. But he made the chase. It wasn't like, that race hurt him where he didn't qualify for the chase. But, I mean, they've been grinding out results here in the chase. Almost won a Chicagoland. He's had fast cars most of this chase. And you kind of sit there now, and again, we don't know recording this live. Oh, here we go again. Logan Williams going to get the bumper back to him from Ford teammate Joseph Newgarden. So many drivers just sending it so hard down into turn 1. The Audis banging all over each other. If you are Braden Perez and Ladovic Charette, say, has a long pit stop here to maybe repair some damage, because I don't know which one of these cars Cam Waters ran into, but if Ladovic Charette has anything bad go to her now with Cam Waters out of this, Braden Perez is in the catbird seat to potentially jump back into a title fight here. A title fight that it didn't feel like he was going to be any part of here, but, that's the beauty of this chase and the way that this season's played out, Stuart. I mean, it has been so competitive that, somebody gets an advantage for a little bit. I mean, we talk about Cam Waters' dominance all season, but you mess up the way that this series is right now, how competitive it is, and there's 5 guys ready to just absolutely pounce and, ruin that advantage that you had.
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt about that, because anyone can win on any given day, and clearly, I mean, we look at Perez, for example, who, as you mentioned, had that historic season last season, and hasn't. It's not that he's run poorly, but hasn't been able to replicate it. And here he is now, and he's made the most of his opportunity here in this race, taking the lead. You mentioned as well, if Ladovic has a bad pit stop, he could really capitalise it. Obviously, with a win, he could well be the points leader if things go well. As you see, Newgarden going for 4th, big send there on the inside of the 51, and might work out because Charette's going to climb that little sausage curve there, and it's going to lose a bit of time, and now lose another position to Logan Williams. So this is bad for Ladovic. We're not going to be losing too much ground here to the 69, and even to Rogel as well, who, yes, is, more than race win behind, but is still, running fairly well in this race, who would gain a bit of ground as well. So, and that was what I was going to say, is that Rogel as well, if Ladovic has a bad pit stop, would also significantly benefit from it.
Yes. Yes, Rogel's kind of sitting there in the fringe because he is 64 points back. Needs a little, like Braden Perez, the points leaders have one bad race. As long as he runs in the top 5 or top 10 even, he's thoroughly back in it. Rogel needs kind of back-to-back weeks, and I think he's got the pace to do it. He just needs to be unbelievable. He needs to be like Tony Stewart 2011 good. The path is there for him. The path is still there for him. It's clearly there for Braden Perez. It's still there for Rogel. It's just a little more out of his control where things have to happen that necessarily he can't fully dictate, unless he just wins out. He could win out and drive his way back into this championship. Because if he were to win the rest of the season, go run the table, they say, just the statistics tell you that how competitive the season has been. If you were to win 5 races in a row, you're very likely to jump that 63-point gap quite quickly. But again, that's a big assumption because nobody's ever won 6 races in a Stock Car World Cup season. So doing 6 in a row, I don't know. Gotta give a shout out here to these Pacific Racing guys, and we clowned them for it feels like a season and a half, 2 seasons almost. The whole Toyota program as a whole. When they ran the Lexus RCF for a season and that failed campaign, but never mind. We're going to get back to Pacific Racing here in a moment because Rogel Ford is heading all for it here into the Lesmo quarters again here as Braden Perez slipped up.
We saw before that you see Perez gets past. The outside lane is stronger. That little you get get on the accelerator a little bit quickly. Get early acceleration and you get that drive off the turn, and that really, really helps. And so Perez will have to use that to his advantage there to hold the lead. It's how he got around Charette in the first place when he was battling there for second. And speaking of Charette, down to 8th now behind Nathan Smith. So the 51's struggling for speed as this run's gone along. So this is not the kind of performance that certainly I was hoping to see, and certainly Ladovic would be hoping for. And then the other one I want to mention is 2. We mentioned Rogel, we mentioned Braden Perez, that 2 drivers that could really benefit here today if all goes well. How about the guy in 3rd? Joseph Newgarden. I mean, he's 71 points back. He's not terribly far out of it either. And this car looks very, very quick. RFK have done a very, very good job this year as part of the program. Is that Blaine? Oh boy, that's a lot of damage. So he's gotten involved somewhere.
He hit something very hard.
They must be running into the back of cars heading into turn 1 because we've seen that a couple of times, and that must be. Look at Hubert back there in the 18. You can see the damage on the front of that car, for example, and then the Amsoil Pontiac back there as well, also with a bit of front end damage too. So they must be running into each other, and that's probably where they're getting this damage, heading off into this little S section on the first couple of turns. So that must be where they're getting the damage, and that's not good, to say the least. And it's certainly affecting, it's certainly affecting Keys, certainly affecting Waters, because they're way down in the order.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be careful here at Monza. I mean, we talk about it a lot. I mean, this is one of the longest, this is one of the heaviest braking zones, I think, on the entire calendar. You are full parabolica all the way down to turn 1 here. I mean, you are on the gas, and you are seeing some of these drivers, they are struggling with it here today. Logan Williams and Joseph Newgarden took shots at each other for like 3 laps straight. Jack, a couple guys, I mean, I do want to run through here, as the leaders are giving us a breather for just a moment here. Doesn't happen too often the past couple of months here. A couple of shout-outs to some guys. Jack Haas running 5th. He didn't make the chase, but he is in line for a top 15 points finish this season if he can hold the pace that he has. And you got to give him some credit here. He's really stepped up his game this year. I know he'd be disappointed because he hasn't gotten that elusive second career victory yet. But, for a brand new team here at Pfaff Motorsports, I know it's a Penske Williams car, but a brand new solo team. and a guy who the results haven't always been there. I think the results, you can now say, that he is a solid upper midfield contender here in Stock Car World Cup, who clearly, even though I don't know if he's a title threat, as Newgarden's going for position on Rogel Dorn, we can watch there. Haas, I mean, he's done a really good job this season, and I want to give him his flowers here. And I mean, these top 3-4 have just been going at it here. And if you're Rogel Dorn and Joseph Newgarden, you gotta be careful here, because Logan Williams' car, even though he kind of ran into the back of Joseph Newgarden there a few times, he still looks really quick. Nathan Smith looks really quick. The Red Bulls, for as much hype as we thought they were going to be in the preseason and come out and wipe the floor with everyone, they really haven't this year. But the Red Bulls have some very, very fast cars here today. And I would not be surprised here with Nathan Smith running this good. I mean, do you think they could get that elusive podium sweep here? We have never seen a team. We've seen teams go 1-2. We have never seen the elusive 1-2-3 podium sweep here in Stock Car World Cup.
Well, I mean, they're in good position. You can see all three of their cars are clearly quick. I mean, even Nathan Smith back there has worked his way quite well forward up to 6th. So clearly those cars have a level of speed. Maybe it's just that the BMWs need to head back to Europe to get their act together and really kind of flex their muscle like we saw earlier in the year. But I tell you what, Jack Haas looks pretty racy, doesn't he? He peeked his nose there, looking to the inside of the 33 in that battle for the 4th position. He's probably going to get him. You see a couple of times there, Logan just was on the curb there a little too much, and that really impacted his exit speed and lost a heap of ground there. And that's really cost him. We can see that coming up to this next little S section as well. If you're on the curb and you're not over the curve a little too much, you're going to lose a lot of speed. There you go again, like just there with the 33 and the 63. 63 can capitalize on it. But I mean, in terms of the top 3 podium sweep, it is very hard because there are lots of competitive cars. Even like Rogel and Newgarden, for example, they're not letting Brayton Perez get that far away. It's not like 69 is that, like he's not gone. He's not dominating like we've seen a couple of times last year. So it would take a lot, but it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
To be fair, I think this is statistically has been the hardest road course to dominate at. Over the years, we've seen the most lead changes here. We've seen some of the closest margins we've ever seen on a road course. Jordan Taylor, I think, one year beat down the field and won by like almost 8-9 seconds. But other than that was early in Stock Car World Cup. As the series has just ramped up in competitive nature, it has gotten very, very hard to dominate here. I mean, Rogel Dorn and Joseph Newgarden using that slipstream, they've taken half a second out of Brayton Perez's lead that lap. And I'm going to just throw this out here because he keeps lurking. Ooh, as they all keep sending it into turn 1. He keeps lurking, and he's not making a lot of mistakes. But keep your eyes out on Jack Haas today. I think he's going to have a shot to win the race, but he's going to have to challenge the 23 and the 69, who have been the 2 fastest cars here today. Side by side once again here through the Curva Grande into the first chicane, heading up to the Lesbo corners. It's Dorn on the inside, Perez on the outside this time around for the Lesbo corners. Though the outside has been so good up here, but Dorn I think has the best car. Just can't get enough of a run to the inside, but they're going to have this whole top 4 bunched right back up here, and they're going to start hitting some draft off of the lap car of Blaine Keys. Oh boy, Blaine Keys couldn't come at a better time here for Brayton Perez, because that little bit of slipstream might help him build a little bit of a gap here. But we're going to have pit stops also in a couple of laps here, and this is the part of the race where you have to really situate yourself. You have to start situating yourself here, but if you're sitting here, Jack Haas, I think you're thinking if you're the 38 team, you want to be the first car down pit road and potentially try and jump all these guys, because that 38, he looks like he has the smoothest hands on the racetrack here today. There has been no mistakes made from this man so far.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, you'd rather if you're in contention here, back here, like Haas, like, let's say, the 60, I reckon Blake Keys, he's got a pick glitch going at the moment because he's back down once again. But I think with the 38 and, like, Newgarden's got a lot of speed. I reckon the 63 is quite quick as well back there, Nathan Smith. Oh, careful. See the braking. The power of the braking there. Oh, look at the run that Dawn's going to get past you on the Curva Grande. A big pass there from Rogal takes the lead, and Newgarden's going to try and follow through. But if you're these guys back here, you want to be the first car in and maybe get yourself a little bit of clean air and get yourself on some fresh tyres. I know that the tyre wear is not that high at this racetrack, but you'd rather come in early, I would say. Well, that's always been my mantra anyway. I think maybe Hubert came down and just saw the 18 there, and you see the 33 of Logan Williams off the racetrack there. He was in the gravel. That's not ideal. And Perez trying to hold off Newgarden. He should be able to do so, although Newgarden's going to
get it
into Lesmo 2.
Oh, he's going to get the side-by-side. He's almost had a shot at the side-by-side run. It's such a weird track because every time somebody pulls away, you know, you see somebody get a gap, and then the next lap they roll over the sausage curve, and you can make up half a second in a lap. The tires are not very, the deg here is not high compared to some of the other road courses we run. So these guys are just running full tilt, non-stop here. I kind of wonder if Jack Haas is going to hit this lap because we haven't seen anybody attempt an overtake into the Curva Grande. Oh my goodness. Or into Parabolica. Oh my goodness. Is he going to bump and run in the 60 in the middle of the fastest corner on the racetrack? Oh my. Jack Haas is on a mission here today, folks. McLaughlin's going to jump down pit road first. Is anybody else? Any other takers? Nobody just yet. Let's see, though, heading down into turn one. I mean, these guys up here are absolutely putting in an absolute fireworks display up here. I mean, it is, somebody makes a mistake. Jack Haas there. Can he close the door in the Curva Grande before Williams can get to his inside? No, he cannot. Something to note here on the pit stop, so I was thinking about. We saw Williams, that hit he gave to the back of Newgarden or Pato's car earlier was a pretty big hit. You do wonder if he's going to have a longer stop to repair some damage, but they are not stopping with the overtaking and the swapping positions here. Absolute fireworks show from this top six here.
Yeah, it's a good point you made about the damage as well on the 33 and some of these guys. You've got it, like, if you've got damage, will the team, will they repair that damage on pit road? For the 33, for example, it looks pretty insignificant. I don't think it's having that kind of difference. So I wouldn't even worry about it because I think the car is fine and you want to get the car back out there as quick as you possibly can. But it's very, very interesting with those sausage curbs you mentioned. And you know, especially in 1 and 2, that's where a lot of drivers, they're running over the top and they're losing time as a result. And so nobody can really break away. If someone could just be a little bit more consistent, especially through that first sector of the racetrack, it will make a big difference. Let's see. I think we're going to have some more pit stops here.
Oh, here we go.
I think maybe. Yep, here we go. So everybody's going to come down. We'll see where these guys come out in relative to Scott McLaughlin's. I think that was the 96. Yes, it was. Staying out. I want to see where they come out relative to the guys that came down, like McLaughlin, who came down earlier.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see. Scott McLaughlin is only about, 5.5 seconds back. He was not that far behind. Now, I don't think he's going to make a huge jump because, again, the tire deck gear just isn't high enough for that jump to occur. But it does. You do have to wonder, could get out in some clean air here. Oh, we're going 2 tires on the 60, 2 tires on the 63, and he's going to jump the 23 at Rogal Dorn, and Joseph Newgarden's going to go to the lead, so throw a new player at the top of the key here. Newgarden's going to get a nice little jump. Nathan Smith had an unbelievable pit stop on that 63 team. He's already up over the back of the 23 at Rogal Dorn, and is going to try and shove him into the first hairpin here. And Smith versus Dorn here. Dorn not with the temp tires warmed up all the way. Nathan Smith to the inside. Nathan Smith, can he clear for the second position of the Curva Grande? Yes, he can. Oh, it's a horsepower race heading into the first braking zone here. But Smith needs to clear him now if he wants to set up good for Lesmo. But what an unbelievable pit stop sequence by Joseph Newgarden. The 2-tire strategy worked brilliantly here. And for the first time all race, we have a little bit of some. You're gonna have to make some gap up here if you want a shot to win this race, because Newgarden got out of there, had the perfect outlap. I mean, look at that now. He's just nailed his outlap here as Dorn's been under heavy fire from the two BMWs. Chase Harris is in 5th, Jack Haas is in 6th. Oh, that's brutal. Brandon Perez has had one of the fastest cars here today, and he has some serious heavy lifting now to get his way back up there. And I didn't get a shot before I kick it back over to you, Stuart, but real quickly, I do want to shout out these Pacific guys. They were the clowns of the field not that many seasons ago when they were running the Lexus program. The comeback that they have put on, all three of them combined to different levels, rose in the chase, one guard the best of the rest. Larson's had one of his best seasons in a while. Hats off to that team, but this changes the complexion of the race now. Oh, hello.
Oh boy.
What in the world?
Well, where did the 96 come from? He had a clean pit stop. Yeah, it was very interesting. I know the reason why I raised McLaughlin before is because a clean pit road, when you've got no one else on it, makes a big difference. The 96 was the only one to stay out long, and you know, you had these guys like a Brandon Perez, for example. His stop was horrendous. Like the left sides were up for a very, very long time, and as a result, you know, he's way down, 10th at the moment because 96 has now come out in front. It come out in 2nd, I should say. But oh, look at that! That's very close back there between Smith and Robert Dawn. Oh, that was very aggressive. There, that was proper contact there between Smith and Dawn. Robert's going to try and run that outside again through the two Lesmos. If Nathan could get a good run, not quite. He's not going to be able to shut the door on him, and now Robert should get back past, heading into a Scarlet. You're actually clear right here, but. The reason why I brought up McLaughlin again, you had a clean pit road. Mayer was able to jump out in front of these guys because he stayed out longer, got that clean pit road. He had no interruption. He clearly had a very, very good pit stop. So we're on to the Enes Ganassi guys to put this 96 in position. Does he have the car speed? That'll be the question because he's got it's still a long way to go. He's got to try and run down this 96. Run down the 60, I should say. That's not going to be easy.
Yeah, hats off to Sam Mayer. You want to talk about a season of some unbelievable podium finishers, some unbelievable race winners. I didn't have Sam Mayer fighting for a podium at Monza. Sam Mayer fighting for a podium at Monza. Todd Gilliland, runner-up at Charlotte. Chase Harris, race win at Pocono. Oh, he has a wheel. He has a wheel issue. Oh, no.
I was just about to say, because he was way down there on the inside. He pulled out of the draft very early on, and it wasn't a great position for him to be in. But now that he's got an issue, it makes a lot more sense. He's just trying to stay out of harm's way and make it back to the pits, and that's a real shame for Smith because this car was very, 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 very fast.
And he's gonna
be very careful. Gotta be super careful going through the S's and now through the Lesmos as well, so hopefully he can make it back. That's a real shame because that car was very quick. That's a real disappointment for Nathan Smith. Kind of sums up a lot of his year, to be honest. He's had a lot of misfortune strike and disappointing for the 63.
Yeah, he's not going to have the results to show. I mean, he has 9 top 10s at this point in the season. It's been the best season of his career. And we can talk about how good the Red Bull super team is, but it is worth noting there's only one team who put 3 cars in the chase. I don't need to say which team that is, but like out of all the hyped up super teams we were expecting, only one team put 3 cars in the chase. We can't crush Nathan Smith for being 20th in the points. And he's had the role of bad luck that the 63 car has had. It's just been unbelievable in the mechanical department. But Joseph Newgarden, he's pulling away now. He is looking for his 3rd win of the season. I don't think he's ever actually had a 3-win season, so that would be quite cool for him. Dorn's going to get to the inside of Mayer. I don't think the 96 of Mayer... It's tough because he doesn't have the pace in that car to hold this, but if these guys want to make mistakes, he might have a shot. He's going to lose his podium spot here, but I gotta give the 96 team some credit. Roll the dice when you know you're not gonna get a good result. You might get a better one than you were gonna get, and so far that's working because he wasn't gonna get a top 5. He's now in contention. He could get a top 5 or a top 10. So even if this doesn't end in a podium for Sam Mayer, I love the effort by the 96 team. It's a good sign for that squad. It's a good sign for that squad, you know. Logan Williams in 4th position here. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is this going to bring out the yellow for a stopped car on the racetrack? Uh-oh. Oh, Raja.
He might.
We're going to need you to get... Yeah, you can't have a car stopped on the back straightaway, and the race control is throwing the caution out late in the going at Monza, and oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. It's just not going to make it back, is he? He's not going to make it back. I'm not sure what the issue is on that 97, but yeah, he's had a really tough day. He might be out of fuel, actually, because he's come down a few times. He might be out of fuel, perhaps, because I reckon he's come down a few times. But that car's not going to make it back, and so I reckon that's a justifiable yellow. But that changes the game. That's the last thing that Newgarden wanted to see. I tell you what, Rogel Dawn had gained a second on the last lap.
On the
60.
He did. I just saw that.
So that is the last thing that Newgarden wanted to see. The only saving grace is that, you know, he's got a couple of laps that are going to be taken away. So we've got less defending to do, but this 23's got some speed, and so game on.
We're in for an absolute proper fireworks show here to end this race. You know, this is gonna get spicy because you're gonna have Joseph Newgarden. I mean, we gotta see too. We're gonna come around. We will come around, and likely it'll be 1 to go, but we're also the pit road will open. So that, because this is a big racetrack here, folks. We don't need 2 laps to restack the field, and we are late in the race. We are not doing waiver rounds at this moment in the race. But this could be quite interesting because everybody took 2 tires. Do you roll the dice and somebody come down pit road? If Joseph Newgarden comes down pit road, everybody's going to come down pit road. But now, I mean, if you're Sam Mayer, the draft's restacked. You're going to be right there for Rogel Dorn and Joseph Newgarden, who are about to go absolutely ballistic. If you're Ludovic Charette, this is the best thing to happen, because she now has an opportunity to potentially gain some of these points back. Same with Braden Perez. This is going to get very, very dicey here on this restart. Also, just taking a look, Cam Waters is still on the lead lap. He's got some damaged race cars in front of him here. Opportunity to maybe salvage the points out of this. Not completely gone for the 6 car yet. So Nathan Smith, I don't think he lost a lap in that. So taking the wins and the very hard defeats here, he still has an opportunity to gain some points. But we're gonna go restart it when we do get the green. It'll be coming back to lap 21 of 23. I'll do the math. That's a 3-lap shootout here at Monza. I mean, first off, what are your thoughts on this race so far? What do you do here if you're Joseph Newgarden?
Well, for me, there is no world where, with the tyre where you've got track position is king, there is no world where you pit unless you are even if you were very, very close on the field, you wouldn't pit. You're leading the race. You're 71 points down in the championship. Charette's in 8th. You've got to make every post a winner. I wouldn't dare come down if I were Newgarden, if I were Dawn. You know, these guys that need these, even like a Logan Williams, who is, you know, 4th on the track at the moment, and yeah, he's 83 points behind. You know, you need to make every post a winner. In terms of the race, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see if Rogel can carry that speed that he showed first time around. I thought for a minute.
We're rage baiting to go to pit road.
rage baiting. They're all just getting stacked up, and so they're all just getting alongside just to kind of, I suppose, get out the hot air of the cars in front, I should say. But yeah, as we're going to go back green next time by, you know, it'll be very interesting with Rogel. I don't think Mayer has the car speed to win the race. Top 5, yes, and that's a great strategy called by the 96 team, so well done to them. Rogel has led laps. He's been basically top 2 all race. So this is a car that has clearly got enough speed. If presented the opportunity, he might be the one that is going to dethrone Newgarden. And he was definitely, I mean, he was closing in prior to that yellow coming out. So, I mean, he gained a second. Once he got by Newgarden, once he got by Mayer, he got closed in a second on the lap. So, yeah, look, there's a lot to play out, but in the end, track position is king. And you'd say Newgarden, you know, in a race that he desperately needs to win, I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't go all out for it.
That's what makes this so interesting. If something were to happen here to Ludovic Charette and say she drives into the back of Pato O'Ward, has heavy front end damage and has to pit, if you're Rogel Dorn and Joseph Newgarden, you have to go. Like, you have to be willing to crash the other person and win this race, because Ludovic Charette's going to be in a hornet's nest. So is Braden Perez. You know Cam Waters and Blaine Keys are straight out of contention now. You know, this is an unbelievable opportunity. You don't get the super speedways of Talladega and Daytona in this chase to give you opportunities. You know, the crazy opportunities that you don't normally get, you know, those wild card moments, they happen here on the road courses. You see the guy in P3 right now. You know, when you get one of these gifts here in the playoffs and a chance to potentially drive your way back into contention, you got to take it. And, you know, something, we've had, what, 6, oh, I almost said the thing. 6 races on the channel here this season, of the first race, or the last race before the chase at Michigan, 5 chase races so far, including this one. Rogel Dorn's won 2 of them, and of those 2 races, one was a last lap pass, the other was a pass with 3 laps to go. This is a dog when it comes to winning in the clutch here, but you can just see already, they are stacked up, Stuart. They are ready to go. They are going to be absolutely jumping here when they hit the gas, when they get out of Parabolica.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And we saw at the start, we saw some guys go 3 wide heading into that first chicane. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. We might see some really, really aggressive moves. But if you're Joseph Newgarden, you have to nail this restart. You are the leader of the race. The 23 is going to try and make a move. He has got to nail the restart. He's got to nail it out of Parabolica, and he's got to nail the chicane. Otherwise, the 23, in theory, will be all over him. So pressure's on.
Here we go. It's Joseph Newgarden. It's Rogel Dorn. It's Sam Mayer. It's Logan Williams. It's Jack Haas. There's points on the line. There's a shot at the championship potentially hanging in the balance here, depending on how these final 3 laps go. We are back up into the gears, and away we go here in the Italian Grand Prix. And Logan Williams is going to be the first one to step out of line. He's going to the inside of Sam Mayer. He's going to get the run down to the corner. Can he make that big enough braking into turn number 1 to get to the inside of Rogel Dorn? They're all banging into each other. 3 wide. Around goes Byron, around goes Tug. Somebody cut through the grass. I think it was Zillage. Here we go for the lead of the race, and it's Rogel Dorn, the late race hero, once again striking his way to the front of this field into the inside of Joseph Newgarden, and he's going to clear through the Curva Grande for the moment, heading up into 4. Logan Williams, though, is going to be hot in pursuit here, and Jack Haas sees a shot at victory, and Ludovic Charette gained a few spots, but side by side once again off the chicane, and they go into Lismo side by side, and it's going to be Newgarden trying to edge his way out. He gets it for the moment.
That's a big, big move there by Newgarden. He had to work his way around the outside. Rogel couldn't quite clear through Curva Grande, heading off into that S section. And now it's all for the 23. He has to go again, because he made the move. He made the right move through Curva Grande out of the chicane. Now he's got it all to do again. And the 33's right up there. You got Jack Haas right up there. They both got around Mayer. And don't look now, I think Ladovic gained a couple of spots on the restart as well, so she's now up into 6th as the Pacific teammates go side by side, Larson and Rose. And Rose will clear, and Rose also, you know, he's 5th in points. Would love to get some extra points here late in the going.
Yeah, Rose might not be able to jump into the championship fight, but could a potential top 3 in the points be on the cards for him? That he could get the 3rd. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility here, but Ludovic Charette, this is exactly the kind of opportunity she needed to blow this championship open here a bit. Ilot's coming down pit road. 2 laps to go here. Popsicle sticks are in the air at Monza. They go into turn 1 again. It's going to be Haas slamming the 33 into the 23. That was not a shot that Logan Williams could afford to give the 23, though. He's got some heavy damage. Oh my goodness, here comes Jack Haas. He gets around Williams. He gets around Dorn in one corner. Oh my. Is this Jack's day? Jack Haas just woke up, shoved the 33 into the 23, proceeded to pass both of them, proceeded to run the exit of the chicane wide, and he proceeded to take about 2/10 out of the Joseph Newgarden's lead. And I think I was saying in the pre-race, Stuart, we haven't had a race in 11 rounds now on the calendar that has been decided by over a second. Every 11 races in a row decided by under a second, and we're gearing up for another one of those classic finishes here, because it's Haas and Newgarden edging away from the 23 and the 33 here, coming to the white flag this time by.
Well, it's a good thing it's stock car racing and not Formula 1, for example, because Jack Haas pile drove the 38, pile drove the 38 into Williams, into Dawn, and gained the 2 positions as a result. Newgarden's pulling away a little bit down the straight, but that hasn't particularly mattered. He's got to nail the chicane here if he's going to win this race, because the 38 will do everything within his power to go out and steal it from the 60.
I mean, he just showed white flag in the air here at Monza, over a little over 5 kilometers to go here. I mean, that was an unbelievable move. It might not result in a race win, but you have to absolutely commend the heart of Jack Haas here today to just leave it all out on the line here. Mayer's going to bang into the back of the 33. Nobody really got a good exit through the first part of the opening chicane. Rogel Dorn's going to get a good exit, though. He gets to the inside of Jack Haas here through the Curva Grande, heading up here into the north end of the racetrack, into 4 and 5, setting up for Lesmos 1 and 2. Mayer and Charette. Charette's going to try and get around Sam Mayer here. They are just stacking up everywhere in this field. It has been an unbelievable race here around Monza, as it has always been every season that we've come here. But it is Joseph Newgarden. That was an unbelievable 2-tire stop. He pulled away on the first stint after the pit stops. He's held his lead here on the restart, and he is a few corners away from his 3rd win of the season.
That pit stop was a big part of it, but also that restart. He held Rogel Dawn off. Rogel looked like he was going to get clear through Curva Grande. It didn't happen. Newgarden fought back, and it's going to pay off for the number 60 as long as he can make it through Parabolica clean. I think Jack's going to run out of time here, the 38, but still a very, very good run.
It was an unbelievable effort here by the Canadian. He gave it everything he can. He was throwing it all on the line. But one man held through every battle here today. The 60 of Joseph Newgarden's going to get his 3rd win of the season. He wins the Italian Grand Prix, and an absolute all-time thriller here at Monza. Jack Haas is going to get his second or 3rd podium of the season. His best finish of the year. Runner-up here for Haas, and I think that's, you know, for as good as the 2 Ford drivers who are flanking him here on the podium, that is some driver of the day material from Jack Haas. Rogel Dorn's going to come home 3rd. Logan Williams 4th. Sam Mayer, that has to be his best finish of the season. That is his first top 10 of the season, let alone top 5. So hats off to the 96 team. Unbelievable effort. Ludovic Charette, exactly what you need to do with the opportunity. Take advantage of some others' very, very tough misfortunes. He comes from 6th. Caleb Rose, a great run at 7th. Pacific, a great day with Larson in 8th. Chase Harris turned the good qualifying effort into yet another just solid, good finish here. His sixth top 10 of the season. And Max Davis, last year's winner here, even though he didn't have the pace this time around to go back to back here, a top 10. Blaine Keys, that sums it up here. He's going to be credited, I believe, a dead last. Cam Waters, I believe, is going to come home in 27th, which is obviously not ideal in any way. It's a little better than what it was looking. Matt Tubb is going to come home in 22nd. Bieber in 25th. Got a feel for Nathan Smith. Brandon Perez. I mean, they just had a slow pit stop there under Green, and he could regain positions. But it's kind of a tale of multiple tapes here. I mean, Joseph Newgarden is going to come home the winner. Absolutely unbelievable drive by Newgarden. He comes home the winner. Ludovic Charette takes advantage of everybody else's misfortune. And what was, and again, I say was, very lightly, Stuart, we've seen this season championships can be blown right back open on a moment's notice. This has been an unbelievably competitive season. What was looking like it was about to be a dogfight between Charette and Keys all the way to the finish. Ludovic Charette's going to have almost a race on Blaine Keys and Cam Waters now. And we have 5 races to go. And I don't know if anybody's looked at Ludovic Charette's career numbers at Colorado, but thoughts after this one, because that 51 is now in the driver's seat to potentially win her second career championship.
Yeah, absolutely. On the back of, it wasn't a great performance for Ludovic. I think she would have been hoping for a little bit better, but 6th place is a very strong performance. But now you look at, obviously Keys has lost a bucket load of points in this race. There's no denying that. But now you look at Newgarden, and he's had a great year. He came into this race 8th in points, and Rogel's right there as well. They're going to be the ones now that going to be there or thereabouts. Caleb Rose might be up there as well. So it'll be very, very interesting. But yeah, Ludovic's definitely in the catbird seat, as we call it, and I'm quite happy about that personally. But it was an entertaining race, and I think the right guy won. I think the pit stops. Newgarden was fantastic prior to the pit stops, and then obviously got out in front when others faltered, and you got to give him credit, and he was able to hold everyone at bay when he was challenged on the restart. So fair play to RFK and to the 60 team, and it's a long way back now for guys like Waters and Keys. We'll see what happens. They'll need Charette to have some sort of issue probably, but we've still got 4 races to go, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting way that the rest of the season's going to go, because you sit there and you think, well, we know that's a couple of Fords, and it's been very well documented over the past couple of seasons. I mean, we know how good these Fords are at this style at the upcoming 2 racetracks, Colorado and South Boston. They bring the cars to beat every single time. But obviously, Ludovic Charette is now in the driver's seat of that, and you talk about a driver who doesn't make a lot of mistakes. She doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It's very hard to beat her in some of these situations. So, it's going to be a wild dogfight all the way down to the end of this. What has been an unbelievable season. And just because Ludovic Charette has a big championship lead right now, don't assume this is over. We've gone to Watkins Glen and seen things unbelievable happen. We've gone to Chicagoland this year and see things happen. Anything can happen. That's what we've learned this season, is anything can happen. Any one of these drivers could potentially upset, but we are 5 races to go, Stuart. Colorado's up next. What are you looking forward to when these drivers take on the bull ring of the Colorado Motor Speedway next weekend?
I'm really just looking forward to seeing how guys like Waters and Keys respond, and if anyone can really take some ground out of Charette in terms of the championship. Colorado's a fun racetrack with a lot of good racing, and that's why I brought it into my own series now for the new season. Really looking forward to seeing what seeing how this race plays out. There's obviously a lot on the line, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to take a lot for Charette to probably not win the championship now, given where it's certainly not over, but it would take a lot. Well, maybe not a lot, but maybe one mechanical failure, for example. So it's definitely in the best position. But now, I mean, Newgarden's back in the game. Dawn's probably back in the game, or at least closed in a bit. Rose wouldn't be that far behind either. And then Waters and Keys have got to respond. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens next week.
Well, you will not want to miss it next weekend, folks. I don't know if it's going to be Friday or Saturday yet. We'll find out. Maybe we'll do something different, switch it up and do Monday night. Go head to head, see if there's a crappy Monday Night Football weekend or Monday Night Football matchup next week and give you guys some actual entertainment to watch. But that is all here from Monza, folks. Thank you for tuning in today, and thank you to Alex once again, as always, letting me put these races here up on the channel. And we will see you guys. Chase is coming to an end. This chapter of Stock Car World Cup coming to an end. It has been unbelievable, but this final chapter here, I think we have some stories to write here. Congratulations to Joseph Newgarden and RFK on the victory here today. We will see you all next weekend in Colorado. Till then, so long, everybody.